The poker paradox. Why letting go is your secret weapon. Think back to the height of the poker craze. Everyone was playing. The stakes felt high, and every move felt like life or death for your chip stack. I remember being stuck in these massive tournaments with my friends, but occasionally a scheduling conflict would pop up. I'd realize I had somewhere much more important to be in 30 minutes, but I was still sitting there with a pile of chips. I didn't want to just walk away and forfeit, so I decided I'd force the universe to make the decision for me. I started playing with the explicit goal of getting busted out. I wanted to lose. I wanted to be free to leave without looking back. The results were nothing short of baffling. Instead of losing my chips and making a quick exit, I started winning every single hand. I would shove all my chips into the middle of the table with the worst possible cards, hands that any sane player would fold instantly. I was reckless, I was loud, and I was completely indifferent to the cards on the table. But a strange phenomenon occurred. Because I didn't care about the outcome, my opponents couldn't read me. They were paralyzed by my sudden, inexplicable aggression. I was playing with house money mentally, and that total lack of attachment turned me into a juggernaut that cleared the table. These happened because the moment I stopped caring about the outcome, my fear evaporated. In a normal game, fear is the silent killer. It makes you hesitate, it makes you play tight, and it makes you predictable. When you are terrified of losing your chips, you project that anxiety, and experienced players can smell it from a mile away. But when I decided I wanted to lose, I inadvertently unlocked the highest level of performance possible. I became aggressive, decisive, and completely unstoppable because I had nothing to lose. I wasn't playing against the other players anymore. I was playing with a level of freedom they couldn't comprehend. Why do we win more when we're actively trying to get knocked out? It's simple. We stop focusing on the result and start focusing on the action. In those poker games, I wasn't worried about the trophy or the money. I was just playing. This shift in mindset removed the heavy weight of what if from my shoulders. In dating and in life, we often sabotage ourselves because we are so desperate for a specific yes or a specific win that we become stiff, needy, and fearful. We play not to lose instead of playing to win. The real magic happens when you realize that losing isn't the end of the world. In those tournaments, I had a life I wanted to get back to, a dinner, a date, or another event that was more exciting than the game itself. That is the ultimate safety net. When you have an awesome life waiting for you outside of any single interaction, you lose your fear of being knocked out of a conversation or a date. You become the guy who can go all in on his personality, his humor, and his intentions without shaking hands. That fearlessness is the most attractive quality a man can possess. And just like in poker, it's the one thing that ensures you'll end up walking away with everything. The secret to unshakable confidence, the power of the safety net. The exact same poker logic that makes you unstoppable at the table is the secret sauce for your dating life. Think about it. Why do most guys freeze up when they see a woman they're attracted to? It's because they've made that single moment the center of their universe. They treat the interaction like it's a high stakes game where losing means total disaster. But when you build an awesome life, one filled with hobbies you love, friends who have your back, and goals that actually fire you up, the threat of a woman rejecting you completely vanishes. You aren't looking for her to save you from a boring life. You already have a life you enjoy returning to. This creates a psychological safety net. When you know that your happiness doesn't depend on her saying yes, you lose the fear of her saying no. This lack of fear is what allows you to finally take the lead without hesitating. You become the man who can confidently ask for the number, set the definitive date, or go for that first kiss. Because even if she isn't interested, your world stays perfectly intact. Winning in dating isn't about memorizing cheesy lines or playing manipulative mind games. It's about expressing a total, authentic lack of fear. When people talk about being a challenge, they often get it wrong. Being a challenge isn't about acting stuck up or being a jerk. It's about demonstrating high internal value. It's showing her through your actions rather than your words that you have the self worth to walk away if the vibe isn't right. You aren't auditioning for her. You're seeing if she fits into the incredible life you've already built. When you move with that kind of certainty, it sends a powerful signal that you don't need her validation to feel like a man. This kind of internal strength is absolutely magnetic to women because it proves you are a man who can manage his own emotions and fears. Think about the message you send when you are terrified of losing her interest. You're essentially telling her that she is more valuable than you are, which is a massive burden for her to carry. On the flip side, when you show that you're comfortable with the outcome, whatever it may be, you're demonstrating a trait common to all successful men: emotional resilience. You're showing her that you can handle risk, that you aren't easily rattled, and that you have a rock solid foundation. This isn't about being cold, it's about being grounded. It tells her that you are a leader who isn't swayed by the wind. By focusing on your own growth and your own happiness first, you accidentally become the most attractive version of yourself. You become the guy who is all in on life, and that is a game you will win almost every single time. This mindset shift changes your entire energy from predator or supplicant to provider of good vibes. When you aren't afraid of getting knocked out of the dating pool, you stop overthinking every text and every look. You start acting on your gut instincts again. You become more playful, more aggressive in a fun way, and much more decisive. You aren't checking the social compass every 5 seconds to see if you're doing the right thing. You just do it. That level of self assurance is rare. And because it's rare, it is incredibly high value. You are effectively giving her a gift: the chance to be with a man who knows exactly who he is and doesn't need her to tell him he's okay. That is the essence of unshakable confidence. And it starts the second you decide that your life is already a win, with or without her. The art of high value desire: want her, don't need her. Understanding the distinction between desire and need is the single most important breakthrough you can make in your dating life. Think of it like this: desire is a compliment, but need is a chore. When you want a woman, you are acknowledging that she is an incredible addition to your world. And that is a massive ego boost for her. It's attractive, it's passionate, and it creates a magnetic tension. However, the second that desire crosses the line into need, the energy shifts from romantic to suffocating. Needing her implies that you are incomplete without her, that your happiness, your stability, and your sense of self worth are all resting on her shoulders. That is a heavy burden that no woman wants to carry. She wants to be your partner, not your life support system. When you need her, you stop being a leader and start being a follower, constantly scanning her face for signs of approval. A woman truly wants to feel that you are crazy about her, but she also needs to see that you possess the self control to stay grounded. If you lose your mind the moment you realize you like her, you're telling her that you're easily overwhelmed by your emotions. By maintaining your composure, you're demonstrating that while you find her captivating, you aren't controlled by your impulses. This creates a sense of safety and respect. She wants to know that if things get difficult, you aren't going to fold or become desperate. This balance is what makes you a high value man. You can be 100% interested and 100% stable at the same time. You're showing her that you have a governor on your engine. You can go fast, but you're always the one behind the wheel. A common mistake guys make when they realize they've been too needy is to overcorrect into the cold or aloof guy. They start acting like they don't care at all, giving one word answers and pretending they're too busy for her. But here's the truth: being too cool for school is just another form of dishonesty. It's a mask you're wearing because you're afraid that showing your true interest will make you look weak. Women are intuitive. They can smell that fake indifference from a mile away, and it comes off as insecure rather than confident. Instead of hiding your feelings, you should own your desire completely. Be bold. Let her know you think she's amazing, but do it while stripping away the desperation. This means you can tell her she looks beautiful, But you don't need her to say thank you or compliment you back to feel good about yourself. You are expressing your truth without attaching a price tag of expected validation to it. Patience is the ultimate indicator of power in dating. When you move slowly and confidently, you are signaling that you are a man of options and that you trust the process. One of the biggest attraction killers is rushing the timeline. If you're always the one pushing for the next text, the next date, or the next level of commitment, you never give her interest the space it needs to grow. Think of her attraction like a fire. If you keep dumping logs on it every 5 seconds, you'll smother the flame. You have to give her the oxygen of time and space. When you pull back and allow her interest to catch up to yours, you give her the opportunity to wonder about you, to miss you, and most importantly, to chase you. A woman values what she has to work for. By being patient, you aren't being slow, you're being strategic. You're allowing her the pleasure of participating in the courtship rather than just being a passenger in your race to the finish line. Ultimately, your goal is to be a man who is all in on the connection, but all out on the outcome. You show up, you lead, you express your desire, and you enjoy her company to the fullest. But the moment you feel yourself starting to panic about whether she likes you back, you have to bring that energy back to yourself. Remind yourself that you were fine before you met her, and you'll be fine regardless of how this ends. That internal off switch for desperation is what makes your desire so potent. When she knows that you want her, really, truly want her, but that you are strong enough to walk away if the want isn't mutual, you become the most compelling man in the room. You aren't playing a game. You're simply living a life where your value is non negotiable. That is the razor's edge of effectiveness. Full desire, zero need. Mastering your internal world, the 3 pillars of emotional freedom. To truly stop obsessing over the outcome of a date or a conversation, you have to fundamentally shift how you view yourself and your power in the world. The first and most critical pillar is self-validation. We live in a society that sells the better half myth, the idea that you are a broken or incomplete puzzle waiting for a woman to provide the missing piece. This is a lie that breeds desperation. You are whole and complete exactly as you are right now, at this very second. A woman is not a solution to your unhappiness or a fix for your loneliness. She is a high-value addition to an already great life. When you stop looking for a woman to fill a hole in your soul, your entire energy changes. You stop dating like a beggar looking for a handout and start dating like a king offering an opportunity. You shift from trying to get something to offering value. This mindset of abundance is what makes you naturally attractive because it proves you aren't trying to steal happiness from her. You're bringing your own to the table. The second pillar is shifting your focus from your circle of concern to your circle of influence. This is a powerful concept rooted in Stoicism that will save you years of anxiety. Most guys waste 90% of their mental energy on things they have zero control over, like whether she'll text back, what she thinks of them, or if she's seeing someone else. This is your circle of concern, and dwelling here makes you feel weak and powerless. Instead, you must ruthlessly narrow your focus to your circle of influence, the things you actually control. You control how you dress, how you stand, the way you lead the conversation, and how you manage your own time. When you pour your energy exclusively into your own actions and your own character, you regain your power. You stop being a victim of her reactions and start being the architect of your own experience. If you've done your part, you were respectful, fun, and bold, then the result is irrelevant. You've already won because you mastered the only person you can, yourself. The third pillar is mastering the push-pull dynamic, which is the razor's edge of dating effectiveness. Many men fall into the trap of being too nice or too agreeable because they are afraid that any friction will make her leave. But being a yes man is boring. It lacks the tension that creates attraction. To be truly engaging, you must learn to balance pulling, showing interest, with pushing, challenging her. Give her a genuine, lighthearted compliment that shows you're paying attention. That's the pull. But then immediately follow it up by teasing her or challenging a point she made. That's the push. For example, tell her she has great taste in music, but then joke that you're not sure if your ears can handle her favorite guilty pleasure song. This balance proves that while you're interested, you aren't intimidated by her beauty or personality. It shows you have the backbone to disagree or poke fun, which signals high status and confidence. When you combine these three pillars, you become a man who is grounded in his own reality. You aren't constantly checking her emotional weather to see if you're allowed to be happy. You validate yourself, so you don't need her to do it for you. You focus on your own excellence, so you don't feel powerless. And you use the push pull dynamic to keep the interaction playful and high energy. This internal mastery is what allows you to truly stop caring about the outcome. It's not that you don't care about the woman, it's that you care about your own integrity and your own life more. When she sees that you are the captain of your own ship and that your ship is heading somewhere great, whether she's on board or not, she'll be much more likely to want to join you for the ride. This is the ultimate foundation for a successful dating life and, more importantly, a fulfilling life as a man. The path to mastery: stop guessing and start leading. If you are tired of the constant confusion, the mixed signals, and the feeling of powerlessness that often comes with dating, the time has come to stop looking outward and start looking inward. Real results do not come from chasing women or trying to decipher their every move. They come from focusing ruthlessly on what you can actually control. This means mastering the fundamentals of your own presentation and mindset. It's about how you carry yourself, how you manage your time, and how you communicate your value to the world. When you take full responsibility for your own growth, polishing your social skills, building a life you are proud of, and refining your character, you stop being a victim of circumstance. You become the creator of your own social environment. The moment you decide to prioritize your own excellence over the search for approval, you'll notice a shift in the way people, especially women, respond to you. The most transformative step you can take right now is to identify and surgically remove neediness from your interactions. Neediness is the silent killer of attraction because it signals that you are looking for someone else to complete you. By stripping that desperation away and replacing it with a quiet, grounded confidence, you become a rare commodity in the modern dating world. You stop being the guy who is hoping things work out and start being the man who knows he will be fine regardless of the outcome. This transition from a seeker to a leader is what changes everything. When you move through the world with a sense of purpose and a lack of attachment to any single result, you create a vacuum that naturally pulls people toward you. You don't have to force attraction when you are living a high-value life. It becomes an inevitable byproduct of who you are. For the men who are truly ambitious and ready to move past the surface level advice, I have designed a roadmap to help you navigate the complexities of long-term attraction. If you are ready to go deeper than just getting a date and actually want to understand how to attract a devoted partner who respects and admires you, I've put together an advanced training program called the Attract and Keep Her System. This isn't about short-term fixes or temporary tricks. It's about building a rock-solid foundation for a relationship that actually lasts. Inside this system, we break down the psychology of long-term attraction and show you exactly how to maintain your value over months and years, so you never have to worry about the spark fading or the connection dying out.